Zach Harbin is a transfer student from Northern Arizona State. The sophomore is a California native. Harbin has been preparing himself physically and mentally for a walk-on trial since last summer.
I'll wake up and just have like a strict eating regimen and then go lift, and then after that get workouts in with footwork and stretching and blah, 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 blah. So it's definitely a job, even when it's not a job.
Luckily, Zach was chosen to be a walk-on for the defensive back position after beating out 15 other guys for the spot.
And it's all about competition. You're trying to beat out the best man, so I don't know, it's definitely hard work, but it's enjoyable.
Zach says he made it his goal while in high school to be recruited by a Division I football team. He even had to transfer high schools just to play for a better football team in hopes of being noticed.
I made it kind of a goal early in my years that I wanted to play Division I football, and I kind of wanted to do whatever I had to, and had a great family behind me.
Since the football team has a new coaching staff, Zach has had to reintroduce himself and prove himself worthy of being on the roster for the fall season.
Coaching staff got fired, so had to reintroduce myself and said, hello, I'm Zach, and they said just come out and try out and we'll see where you're at, and I did, and I ended up making it.
The Texas State community has been showing its excitement for the new head coach, Everett Withers. Zach says Withers' mantra can be found in the hashtag Party in the End Zone.
I like him just because of the fact that he tells it how it is. He's definitely honest with what he says.
Being the new kid on the block in a new college and state isn't always the easiest thing, but Zach said that he isn't worried about the other players he's competing with since he has strong faith in God.
If you work hard enough, you'll get places, and just by the grace of God, I guess, too.
Well, Zach has a perfect work ethic and determination as proven right here on the Texas State football field. You can see him in action in the rest of the Bobcats later this spring for the annual Maroon and Gold football game. For Bobcat Update, I'm Kirsten Eyre.
I do like to be pretty meticulous about this, since, you know, you're doing it by yourself, which is scary in itself sometimes, because not very many people do this in relation to the population.
We see more and more people comfortable living this life and saying it's okay to be trans and to talk about trans identity. So I think that we'll see that there really are more people than we realize who are trans, and that more people have met trans people than they realize. The prefix trans means to move across or move beyond, and so it's really moving beyond our basic assumptions of gender. And so anyone who's transgender is somehow transgressing our assumptions of biological sex, those standard definitions of masculinity and femininity. So the most common ways that we see people identifying as transgender are people who are assigned female at birth identifying as male, or people who are assigned male at birth identifying as female. But it's also important to recognize that a huge part of the transgender community are people who identify as non-binary. Personally, I'm a transgender man, which means that I was assigned female at birth and I transitioned to male.
It took years, really, and for me personally, to realize how I was feeling. You know, when I was a kid, I always thought I was one of the guys, really. Like, I was just told that I was just a really, really big tomboy, and I was like, okay, that's it, that's me. Like, I guess I always saw it as something that I had to deal with, and that's something that I wasn't always just comfortable with being me, and didn't know who me really was. After I graduated high school, I came back up to Austin and became Texas State University, and I was really able to kind of express myself the way I wanted to. In the Valley, everything is very traditional. It's just not a good environment to really try to express yourself that way. So when I came up here, I was slowly starting to come into a more comfortable place. Like, I cut off all my hair. Like, I had super long hair, and I kind of slowly cut it off.
It's funny because I could tell that when you cut your hair, you felt like a different person.
Yeah, that was like a step into me realizing, you know, maybe I'm doing these things for a reason.
My initial thought when Josh told me that he was transitioning was kind of silly. It was, I was right. Because just the personality, the way your body moves, the way you hold yourself, the way you present yourself, the way you like look or like make eye contact, your body language, his mannerisms are very masculine. It's just like, yes, boy.
The World Professional Association of Transgender Health sort of gives guidelines for those practitioners in those different fields. Endocrinology is one piece of it, and an endocrinologist is who would provide hormone treatments. So if a transgender person wants to experience hormone transition, they would see an endocrinologist, and that person would provide hormone replacement therapy. For someone who's assigned female at birth transitioning to male, that involves taking testosterone.
It's testosterone and through an intramuscular injection, and I take 0.25 cc's a week every Thursday. I'm going to be taking my shot this morning. I'm just going to take you through it with me. My actual syringe, which is, I'm going to be using this, and then I use this size needle, this one, to pull it out of the vial itself, and then I use this for the injection, so it's like a bunch of needle swapping. And I'm going to try to pull out 0.25 cc. So, here we go. See if I do it like this. A lot of the feelings I get during the same shot day is I get clammy hands a lot. I get hot sometimes, usually that day, like hot flashes kind of. I find it a little more of a challenge to keep my emotions in check. And then I have a lot of energy too, like I get like this rush sometimes. So that is my process of shot day.
Josh's physical transition, it's just been so much fun to watch, because when I first knew him, he was presented as female. So it's been very interesting to watch his body change, because he does give himself shots of testosterone weekly. And so his jaw has gotten more square, and he's starting to get little beard fuzzes. He's definitely been able to bulk up on muscles.
I have some muscle, like different muscular definition, like that a guy would have rather than a girl, like this cut here and that here.
His physique has gone from...
If the shape on my back has changed a little bit, it has gone more from this shape to like a little bit more of this shape.
His voice was the biggest change, and it's still changing. His voice used to be pretty high.
Hello, this is I'm Josh Valdez.
Alright, hey guys.
And it will still continue to change. It doesn't usually settle in, I think, until about a year, 2 years, and then his body will continue to change for the next 5 to 10 years.
A lot of people, especially younger transgender and non-binary people, think, well, this only affects me. But thinking about who all it affects every cousin, every person you've ever known in school.
Their relationship is very interesting because they started dating before Josh started his transition. So they were a lesbian couple because Adriana identifies as female and Josh back then was presenting as female. So they started off as a lesbian couple. When Josh decided to go ahead and open up about his gender identity and transition, that put a interesting development on their relationship. Josh's sexual orientation went from lesbian to straight because he's still attracted to Adriana even though he identifies as male. And Adriana went from lesbian to pansexual. She did, some soul searching. They really had to talk about it and to, be open and honest and support each other.
That's something I'll always be really grateful for. That not everybody gets that support system, and somebody who's there to say it's okay to feel this.
Because it is. It's completely okay. It's who you are. All I ever want to do, all I want for you is to be who you are. You're still the same person to me anyway. So
I'll be the awkward third wheel with them any day.